still 0-0, and they went into penalties, and so far Egypt was ahead 5-4. We'll keep you posted as that goes on. Very exciting match there. All right, looks like news is done, business done, sports done. My guest today just turned 50, he tells me, and has resigned after 25, 26 years working for the administration. Starting off as DO in Kilgoris, all the way to regional commissioner in the entire Rift Valley. He is George Tembeya, and he's still tempeyaing all the way to try to become governor of Trans Nzoia County. He's my guest today. I know you have a lot of questions. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JK Live. JK Live takes a break. We'll be back with the administrator in a moment. In the meantime, coming up. From a district officer to a regional commissioner, Natembeya's 26-year journey and his next move. That's all coming up right here on JK Live.
Own a piece of Havana Estate Nakuru Phase 2 at 599,000 shillings only. Open day on Saturday 29th January 2022. Free transport. SMS plot to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
Get in the game with your NCBA Visa card. Pay with your NCBA Visa debit card this Total Energies AFCON 2021 season. Spend 3,000 Kenyan shillings, get a 5% cashback, and win exciting prizes courtesy of Visa. Get rewarded as you spend.
NCBA.
Located at the heart of Pangani is a residential property that defines elegance and convenience, the Pangani Oasis Apartments. A tranquil place with iconic views of the Nairobi city skyline. Apartments available in executive studios, 1 and 2 bedroom units with prices ranging from 5.3 to 7.7 million. Rental options starting from 33,000 to 53,000 per month. Talk to Pangani Oasis today to reserve your space.
Nimetuma pesa kwa wrong number.
Mambo sasa ni self-service. Tuma hiyo confirmation message kwa 456.
Hivyo tu.
Hivyo tu.
Kumbuka kuhakikisha jina na namba kabla ya kutuma pesa kila wakati. Jichanue and take control.
Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in just 15 minutes. Trust Panadol Baby and Infant to work on fever fast to bring back their cute smiles.
Tumina. Muga FM tunakuja kwako wewe kukuletea salamu za mwaka mpya. Jitokeze kwenye msafara wetu mkubwa. Tarehe 27 tutaanzia makutano tupitie Roire, Kianjae, Mudhara, Lare, Mutuati, Maua, Mechi Mikoro tumalizie Mekindori. Tarehe 28 tunaanzia Meru Town tupitie Mukodhima, Gatonga, Marimanti, kisha tumalizie Kadhoana. Kuja upatane na wasanii unaowaenzi kama vile MC Laingo, Mudhengi Dagara, Kakladi Murangeri, Mama Faith. Pia watangazaji wa Muga FM watakuwepo. Kwenye mix bonge la mziki litapeperushwa na DJ Sharif. Usikose.
Welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live here at Citizen Television, live with a man who's spent literally half his life working for the administration. Started off as a DO in Kilgoris, all the way rising up the ranks to regional commissioner of the entire Rift Valley. George Tembeya tells me he just turned 50, just the end of last year, and he retired. Who does that? Now he wants to be governor. Who does that? Before we introduce him, listen to him when he resigned, literally like a week ago. Take a listen.
Mimi natoa uniform leo, sitaki kuvaa nguo tena, unless under very extraordinary circumstances in the future. Mimi sitavaa nguo tena, naitoa. Kuanzia leo mimi sio RC wa Rift Valley. Mimi nikitoka hapa nitaenda kule Nairobi, nikijitayarisha, nitaenda leave kidogo, nipumzike, nikijitayarisha kwenda kule Trans Nzoia.
George Natembeya, welcome to Jeff Koinange Live.
Thanks, Jeff, for having me.
Well done. So listen, you resigned last week.
Yeah.
And you said you were going to run for governor of Trans Nzoia.
Yeah.
And then, like 24 hours later, we heard you've been seconded to the office of the president. What does that mean?
I actually retired on 12th. That's when I gave notice of 12th of January. You normally give a notice to retire. And retirement from public service is not just an event, it's a process. And that's why I was brought to the office of the president to do a bit of clearing. There's the Official Secrets Act that we normally sign when we enter government. And as you exit, there's another one that you have to sign and give a commitment that whatever you got from government, you will not use it badly or to sabotage government. I'm almost done with that. But the retirement, effective date 12th of January. So I'm not an RC, I'm not officially in government,
Yeah.
just the process of clearing.
Okay, we heard or we know that civil servants are supposed to retire or resign by the 9th of February, right? Why do you retire or resign so early?
Why not? Why not? I'm so eager to go home and serve my people, serve the people of Trans Nzoia. That's one. Number two, Rift Valley is a fairly complicated region, and therefore it would have been selfish for me to wait until February the 9th so that my successor would come. But leaving early actually gave the government opportunity to identify another person who will come and take over from me. And part of the process of handing over involved me taking the guy around, showing him the hot spots in the Rift Valley, and I think you've done well. Given that this one is also an election year, and therefore the incoming officer needed to have sufficient time even to acclimatize to the issues that have continued to bedevil the Rift Valley.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to take that decision. It was completely voluntary. Nobody pushed me. Of course, my bosses were aware. My principal secretary was aware, my cabinet secretary was aware, and even His Excellency the President was aware. And they all said, fine, you've served the government, you're still going to serve the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
They were good with it.
Look, you spent half your life in the administration.
Yes.
Straight shooter, you call it like it is.
Yes.
Are you ready for the murky waters of politics, the dirty, down low, pigsty, pigs?
Jeff, I don't think there's anybody in this republic who's more ready than me. The regional commissioner or a provincial administrator basically is the president's representative at those various levels of administration. Like the RC for the Rift Valley, I used to run all the affairs of the national government in the Rift Valley. You're basically like a small president there. A governor does executive work at the county level. And therefore, the 26 years I've been an administrator, I want to believe was just preparing me to be governor for Trans Nzoia. Politics is murky, as you said, but it's deliberate. Politicians want to make it murky, dirty, so that will scare some of us from entering that field, because you fear being called names, being labeled, being insulted. Your family will be insulted. That's what they believe in. But we want to go in, and some of us want to sanitize politics, so that even women who want to come out and vie will not fear going to politics because they fear being insulted. So I have what it takes. They can throw whatever they want to throw at me, but my resolve to serve the people of Trans Nzoia is unbreakable. Nothing will break it.
Yeah.
No.
You said it's one of the most cosmopolitan parts of Kenya.
Yes, it is. In Trans Nzoia, I've got everybody. all communities, all the 45 communities are in Trans Nzoia. And that's why it's important to have somebody who has really worked and served all these communities, else not necessarily in Trans Nzoia. I bring a wealth of experience because in my 26 years work as an administrator, I've had the opportunity of relating and serving Kenyans of all walks, different socioeconomic status, different ethnicities, different nationalities. And therefore, Trans Nzoia being this cosmopolitan, I think it's going to be one of the very lucky counties to have me as a governor. I'm going to ensure that even when we form government, this nonsense of tribalism and ethnicity will not inform my decisions. We're going to form a government that will be the face of Kenya, one, and then number two, once I'm governor, I'll ensure that these trips that people keep making to Israel to go and benchmark, they'll be benchmarking them in Trans Nzoia. My resolve is that strong. And I'm convinced that I'm going to do marvelous things. We know we're well endowed. In Trans Nzoia, well endowed. We've got everything. Yeah. We've got the people, as I said, galaxy of all tribes. The soil is very nice. The climate is very. We receive rain throughout the year. What's just lacking in Trans Nzoia is a focused leadership. And that's why I've sacrificed all the luxuries. Actually, I know, had I stayed where I was, any incoming government, I'm not trying to be arrogant, will have actually been promoted me to a PS or even to a CS. That would have been about me, about Natembeya, getting promoted and, getting rich and getting famous and so forth. But this time now, it's not about me. It's about the people of Trans Nzoia. I want to go down there and provide servant leadership. Because I've seen my people being bossed around, even by members of parliament, being called names by members of parliament. People who are supposed to be their servants. When this changed and the servant became boss, I don't know. But as I keep saying, it's going to be about turn. The people are going to be bosses. We, the leaders, elected leaders, and other public officers are now going to be servants. I'm going to be servant number one for the people of Trans Nzoia. Yeah.
You spent half your life, like literally half your life, because this coming March will be 26 years, right?
Yes.
So half your life serving this government, starting off as a DO in Kilgoris.
Yes.
Where our very own Linus Kaikai comes from.
A job that I love. It wasn't a very easy decision. I loved my job. I loved that uniform. By the way, I think I'm one of those regional commissioners who spend most of their time in uniform because I was hands-on. Something will happen, and you don't have to rush to the house and put on uniform. I was always in uniform, and I was proud wearing that uniform. So the 26 years that I've been in government, I've dealt with the common folk. The problems that the common Mwananchi has. The problem that can't go to a lawyer or go to court. Problems that are solved by a chief and an assistant chief and a DO and a DC and an RC. There are so many. Actually, if all the public issues were to end up in court, the court wouldn't function. They'll be overwhelmed. But we deal with so many things and resolve them amicably because we got the ADR way, alternative dispute resolution mechanism that we use, so that we have win-win situations all the time. So I've enjoyed my job, coordinating colleagues, doctors, engineers, environmentalists, talk of teachers, talk of police officers. Because as an administrator, you are the fulcrum. You coordinate all these officers and ensure that we deliver as one. Actually, with the coming in of the Jubilee government, especially the second 5 year, the silo mentality in government was basically killed. So the government delivers as one. Don't feel that because you are an environmentalist and you are doing very well, and the road engineers are doing very badly, and you think the government is achieving. So through the office of the regional commissioner, for instance, we have meetings where we bring together all regional heads of departments. Like a road engineer in the Rift Valley knows, what the policeman does, or knows what the guy in charge of Central Rift Water Works Development Authority does. Because we share all these things, including the projects that we do, including the budgets that we have, including the implementation status of all these projects. So that has given me now the necessary experience. When I go to the county, as a governor, you're going to have a cabinet. You're going to have a cabinet with different departments. You must know how all these departments relate. That's what I was saying. The 26 years that I've served in government has given me the opportunity to interact with the common mwananchi, number one. Then number two, gave me the necessary sophistication to run a bureaucracy. Yeah. And like anybody else, I'll be elected today, and tomorrow I'll be up and running. I know actually what an in tray is, what an out tray is. I know how to mark files. Some of our colleagues we have, they have never run an office for all the entire life they've been in public service. They've just been talking maybe in parliament or talking elsewhere, but they've never sat down and understand how a bureaucracy is supposed to be run. When you elect such people, of course, the first place you have to take them is to KSG. For training. They have to be trained. In Trans Nzoia, we don't have the luxury of time. We are late. 10 years have gone. We need somebody who will start working from day one. And that person, I think, is myself.
At the same time, look, you must have had some challenging times in that uniform.
Definitely.
They were really challenging times. Yeah. Was it tough sometimes? Were there times where you wanted to quit?
I love challenges. The bigger, the better for me, somehow. I was trained and prepared for this. You know, in administration, you go for a lot of courses, a lot of training, including paramilitary training. I can command a battalion, and I can even do a parade. I myself can do a parade. So we are trained for those tough challenges. Actually, some places you go to a place and you'll find just a chief, an AP, and maybe a teacher as the only representative for government. That chief is prepared, is trained for those challenges. So there's no challenge in this country that an administrator won't face. Of course, the only thing that I regret about this is that some of these challenges come from people that will expect to be your partners, we expect to help you. But because of selfish political interests, sometimes which are very narrow, they become part of the problem. So you are dealing with maybe a security issue, but the person funding it is an elected member of parliament or elected county assembly member. Somebody should be on board trying to assist you, but they just want to get political, advantage. Yeah, take political capital. So they become part of the problem. At that time, it hurts. It hurts. But for me, it has never reached a point of giving up, because somehow I've always had the support of the common mwananchi. Even when the politicians saying the opposite thing, the feedback I get from the people, from the ground, is very, very encouraging. And then, of course, we put God ahead of everything. Every morning you have to pray, you go to bed, you pray. That assists also, knowing that you have got a bigger power behind you, one who knows that you are doing the right thing. And as long as you do the right thing, as Michiki told me, don't regret.
I was about to ask you about that. It's a great transition there. At one point, you were very close. You were his PA to the late John Michuki.
Yeah, proper PA, not just the one that carries a briefcase. No. I was a proper PA to Honorable John Michuki for about 3 years, from 2005 until after the post-election violence. That's when he was transferred to the Ministry of Roads. Then I was taken as a DC to Muranga, and I worked with him very well. Most of the things I do as a public officer, I learned from him. Of course, he taught me that serving in government is a privilege. Like today, we have got less than 1 million public officers, including the military, the police, the teachers. We're not even 1 million. Out of 47 million. That's a privilege. It's not a right. The minute you're given that privilege, please use it well. Use it to impact positively on people's lives. And he taught me honesty. Do whatever you want to do. Think about the consequences and do it. Yeah? But don't then turn around and say, I did not do it. Explain what you did, the circumstance that made you do it, yeah, and you'll be good. And don't lie, because the guy could not lie. Even if his life depended on it, saying a lie from that guy's mouth, no. And public service was everything. And that's what he taught me. Public service. We would go to the office at 6 in the morning and leave sometimes even past 10 p.m. In the night. And he was an old man. And actually used to tell me that, Natembeya, this future belongs to you people. I wish I had even 20 years of my life. because he was almost 80.
Yes.
I just wish, because now Kenya, the future of Kenya looks so bright, and I'm already seeing it. Look at what the government has offered, Chief. Look at the infrastructure. We are ready for takeoff. And I'm sure maybe somebody will come in 2022 may take advantage of what is going to happen. But the groundwork has already been laid by the current president. So we are ready for takeoff. And the future to me is very bright. Including the future of Trans Nzoia, of course.
But tell me something, if John Michuki, the late John Michuki, if he was alive today, would he be disappointed in what he's seeing in the present day Kenya?
He would. He would. The kind of ethnization of politics, the pettiness in politics, the insults, lack of focus on the interests of the people, and of course the failure to achieve the objects of devolution. Yeah, because the clamor for multipartyism was about getting the resources from Nairobi and getting the power to manage those resources from Nairobi to the grassroots. What happened in most counties, and I've traversed all the counties in this republic, the resources came from Nairobi, they reached the county headquarters, and they disappeared there. Yeah. So the lack of focus on people's interests will have disappointed that old man very much. We used to go with him to Kangema. He used to represent Kangema. The culture of handout in Kangema was zero. At no time did I ever hear or see anybody running after the member of parliament that time for handouts. It was zero. Because he told me my salary is not sufficient. Even if I need to give you all my money, it will not be enough. But there are banks. You've got title deeds. Yeah? Go and get money from the bank and empower yourselves. And his focus was on development projects, on water, electricity, roads, and the people really appreciated. Yeah? And they kept on electing him without giving handouts. So I'm sure this now culture of handouts and people stealing public funds and the glorification of stolen wealth, yeah, that if you're a public officer and you've not stolen anything, people think that you are stupid. I'm sure he'll have been disappointed, a bit disappointed. Yeah, but of course certain aspects of our country, space, the development, the physical development projects that we see around will have made the guy very proud. Yeah.
You've chosen the Democratic Action Party as your platform. Why?
I've not chosen it. And I think at one point, maybe the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa will come out in the open and say this. We thought about this thing with him a long time ago because we knew the kind of politics that were being played in the Western region. Not very mature politics, people focusing so much on personalities, and we knew that we need to change, we need tack. From that part of the world, actually, he was the only cabinet secretary, he still is, and was the only regional commissioner. Great things that the president done for us, and we said now we cannot let our area, because both come from Trans Nzoia, go like that, and therefore had a big input in the formation of DAP Kenya. And therefore people were telling me that I'm joining DAP Kenya or I'm a project of DAP Kenya. They don't understand the history of some of these things, how these things began being formed. I was part and parcel of the vision that, and Kenya are going to see this. DAP is going to be a very big party, and it's going to play a very big role in the management of public affairs in this country because the vision we have is very big. So it's not about me joining DAP. I'm home. But as a civil servant, of course, you cannot identify very actively with the activities of a political party. You can't be partisan. But now that I've left government, I'm free. I can actually promote DAPK, and I'm very happy to be part and parcel of this. Because now the other party that has been running the affairs of basically Bungoma and Trans Nzoia. Look at what has happened. Look at what's happened between Bungoma and Trans Nzoia. It's a disaster. But they're not even ready to take responsibility for what has happened. Now they want to abandon the governor and say it was not us as the party. Yeah, it's the governors. But now when it comes to election, they're saying this is our party, elect us on this party. But when it comes to accountability, they run away from accountability. But what happened the other day, I think, is good with us. We are ready. Assuming we had put all our eggs there, where shall we be now? tutakuwa tunahangaika huko nje tu. But we are good, and the party is growing. This is the party to watch.
Yeah. You mentioned Western leaders are very petty sometimes.
Yes.
What you saw the other day at Bomas of Kenya.
Yes.
And now ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula. Looks like they've thrown their support. They're holding joint rallies with UDA and Deputy President William Ruto. So Western looks like it's split right down the middle, or three ways.
It looks like that. Lack of leadership. You know, Western region, Western province previously, and the people who associate themselves with Western region, you look at the demographics. We are the second largest community in Kenya. But when serious issues of leadership are being discussed, we are not on the table. Even when we are on that table, we're just pedestrian. We don't contribute anything much. And our people have lacked direction. There's such a big community which should be playing a significant role in the leadership of this country. But we've got people who are self-serving. They look at their immediate interests. In 2-3 years, where shall I be? About themselves. But you go home. The challenges of poverty there are just no setting. And the people who are responsible for this poverty now want to metamorphose, and now say they have moved into a different political formation. But they're the same characters. We know what they're going to do even when they're given leadership. But this time we won't let them. We are determined to provide leadership. Personally, I'm saying I'm going to pick up from where Michael Wamalwa left. We had Masinde Muliro, very charismatic leader. He brought many people to Trans Nzoia, gave them land, of course, and to give land. And, he was not a tribalist because people came from all over the place. He gave them land. And then, of course, Wamalwa Kajana came in, but he was not able to do much because, he passed on. And from that time, we've not had proper leadership that can hold even the community, the entire Western, together. I'm saying I'm going to pick up from where Masinde Muliro left because he brought land. We don't have title deeds now. 80% of land owners in Trans Nzoia, surprisingly, Jeff, they've got no title deeds. They've got no land ownership documents as we speak now. Because the leaders are not interested. People bought land using cooperatives, some through the settlement fund trust, others just bought land as, form a small group and you buy land. But they've had challenges of getting title deeds. They can't get. But of course now through the national titling program, of course the government has come in. When I was RC, we have pushed a bit, but largely 70% still, but we're on course. So when you see people trying to form coalitions, purposely to get power for the sake of power, then I think some of us who are exposed, who have seen how leadership is supposed to be, it will be a big failure on our part if we stood idly by and watch things get worse. And that's why we are saying this must stop, and it stops this year. They can come with whatever rhetoric they will come with, but we're going to show the people that their problems are related to the quality of leaders that they have. Western region, as we speak today, doesn't have any leader. That's why anybody can come up and say he wants to be a leader for Western, because there's no one person who can stand up and lead that region and take the region to the negotiating table. That's why we are. We're all beggars. Tunapangwa tu, you are given little money, you go and shout the name of this guy. If you go and check previous clips about some of these leaders, what they've been talking about, where they have gone now, it's crazy. You can't believe it. Just the other day. Now you're saying somebody is terrible today, and then tomorrow he's very clean. What has happened? What has happened? Yeah. That kind of dishonesty is what has put some of us saying, no. We are more required at home. Our parents took us to school. We are experienced. We have got a responsibility. Kama Mungu amekubariki, kwenda bariki watu yako. That kind of confusion now you are seeing now. We don't even know where these guys are. Have they joined the coalition? Are they going to present their own candidates? Yeah. Now competitors are holding joint political rallies. Where in the world does this happen? Which country does this happen? Can you have Trump holding the same rally with
Biden?
With Biden. Can you? It's insane. Yeah. And they think Kenyans are very stupid. Yeah. But we are saying, no. We are going to open our people's eyes. Our people see these things, but have not had somebody to come and put it to them very candidly, that like we're going to do. And we're going to do it.
But at the end of the day, Kenyans get what they deserve. let's face it, we glorify these people.
True.
We elect thugs. And we continue on like life.
Because it's only thugs who offer themselves for election. Do we have any choice? If you got 5 thugs, maybe we can choose the lesser thug. But they're all thugs. But this time, we're going to give Kenyans an option, serious options. This is the thug that you have known. This is a new guy on the block. Try this guy. And I'm sure Kenyans are tired. They're going to try some of us. And we're not going to disappoint them. We are going to set the stage for serious transformation everywhere in this country. I look around and I am seeing young leaders also coming up all over the place. I'm just hoping and praying that Kenyans are going to give us a chance, just to show them how servant leadership and how visionary leadership looks like. We don't want to have dysfunctional governments like what we've done because of obsession with power. Power for what? If you've got power and you're not serving the people, it's power for what? So we want to have power to serve the people. And power for serving the people is not self-glorifying. It's not. You feel happy when you serve people. Like myself, Jeff, somebody, I feel happy when I go home and I know that somebody came to my office and I solved their problem. And I know, this has been my motto, that anybody who comes to my office and that problem is solved, that problem is not solvable. You can well know and it will not be solved. Yeah, because I crack my mind and look at all options and try as much as possible. Because when a Kenyan comes to your office in the morning, at 6, you go to the office and you find her sitting there. This person has thought about you the whole night. She has not slept. Yeah. And she has put all her hopes in you. And then now you come to the office and you are telling her, this is not my responsibility. It's your county government. I must your national government. That's somebody that say, want you to know what national government and county government is. She just wants service. And these are our people. So we are going to show people how leadership is supposed to be. And that leadership is about solving people's problems, not joining people in crying. I saw others crying yesterday and saying, oh, the president has not brought us roads in Trans Nzoia, or we don't have water in Trans Nzoia. You are a leader. Then you go and cry on national television. Then why were you elected in the first place? If you cannot walk into a cabinet secretary's office and say, we need this infrastructure in our place, and we think we can provide a budgetary provision for this, and discuss with the CS there and agree, you come and cry. So my mother at home is crying because she can't reach the hospital because there are no roads. And the elected member of parliament is also crying on national television. Let them give, on a jam, let them give us chance to find a cause. Because they're jostling for positions. They'll be, if they get them, they don't know what to do with them. Because they didn't even know why they were elected in the first place.
You know, it's about time we heard a voice like this. It's very refreshing. Exactly. Let's take a break, come back. My goodness. I can't remember the last time I heard this kind of talk, folks. Straight talk, because the man has been working for the administration for more than half his life. Yes. He calls it like he sees it. George Natembeya. He's going to Tembeya all the way to become governor of Trans Nzoia. That's what he wants after working half his life for the country. Wow, this is refreshing. Let me hear from your tweets. At Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JK Live. JK Live takes a break. We'll be back. We'll be Tembeyaing some more.
Thank you.
In a moment.
Sorry.